Bro, where is it? Everyone died? Why didn't you tell me you were getting pushed?
I was dead. Honestly, they kind of cooked us. Like, Blade got behind and just... Yeah. They probably got objective, not gonna lie. Yeah, they got objective.
They go the other.
You know, Deadpool can also, like, upgrade his abilities.
I need heals, fellas. I need heals. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we got cooked there. Also, we only have one healer and it's me. You know, like, and Deadpool is not the best healer. Like,
110.
That much healer. 110. It's one of those games, you know?
Yeah. No way. That means I'll end quick, but the opposite way.
Yeah. Manir, you won't have to wait long. Yo, this is so fucked. I wonder if our Namor is having fun, or Hawkeye. Yo, Surfel, you want Deadpool?
Fuck it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go. I'm just go fucking something else. You got Deadpool.
Tank pool.
Or tank pool.
Or should I go into this one? Nice. Got one person at least.
What
Yo,
is
was you his
this?
tank pool all we needed?
What the fuck is this?
Was it what?
He just pulled out a comic book.
Yeah, that's your upgrade shit,
Oh, that's
bro.
the upgrade.
You gotta upgrade
You can upgrade your
mid-fight, bro.
abilities and shit.
Yo, Sabo Jin in the chat.
Yo, Sahab, pull up.
That's probably playing League, bro.
Yo, come back.
Why are we doing better all of a sudden?
Don't tell me what
Yo,
to
it's
do.
because you're tank full.
That was a suggestion,
Oh,
bro.
we have two tanks. That as well. You got a Penny Parker now.
Alright, let's watch this Rappy Taffy gameplay a minute in past.
But I don't know what I'm doing, fam. I don't know what's going on.
I didn't either, and I was playing
Clearly.
decent with Deadpool. Your Namor also like turn on.
Clutch warning shots, bro. These are more than warning shots, bro.
So what does my ult do?
Which one?
Honestly, I don't even know.
I'm tank.
Yeah, which one, bro? You have press. There's multiple.
There's a letter. What letter do you have?
Oh, you can only use it when it's S plus. So.
Bro, how do you... I don't know how... I pulled up the comic book again, bro.
The comic books are for upgrades, bro.
Alright, fuck it.
What do you mean, fuck it, bro?
Just start doing shit, yo.
At least, alright, this guy's using ranged katanas. What am I seeing right now?
Prime tank pool, yo. Yo, get out of there, Surfel. You're deep and you're alone.
Honestly, bro, I'd be button mashing too. I can't lie.
Yeah.
I don't... get at all. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so your alternate trigger does different things if you have the gun and the swords enabled. You know that, right? Clearly not.
Yo, damn, yo. This fucking Daredevil. Yeah, damn, yeah, Daredevil wanted me. Daredevil got me.
I'm finally dead, bro.
Who's on your team, bro? Can he hit a single shot? Yo, he's got a 17% accuracy. 14% accuracy.
Yeah, nothing. We might do laps.
This is gameplay, bro.
We need to get on objective. Oh yeah, it's over.
Who doesn't playing Ultron?
Oh, I got off. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean one healer will do that, right? Whole game with one fucking healer. Deadpool and Ultron, not very good healers to begin with.
Bruh.
Let's get back to lobby.
Rank equal GM2? There's no way that was GM2 gameplay, bro. Alright.
Honestly, it might be, bro. GM's overrated.
Grandmaster. Krakoa, Domination, Hellfire Gala.
Pick your hero.
Quick match.
Or villain. I'm not judging.
Damn! It was too fast for me.
I thought you got it.
Nah, I didn't get it. Fort Nowhere got it.
Port of Miami got it?
Yeah, Rick Ross got it, bro. Boss. Oh, we got Bidoof on the team, bro?
Badoo.
No,
Yeah.
no. Shut up, Badu.
One of the goats.
Teach that guy any HM we need, bro.
Is Badoof the ultimate HM slave?
Oh yeah, so I'll just set it in my chat, bro. HM slave for sure, bro.
Guess we better start the world again. Or is it worlds this time?
Everything, bro. The fact they get surf as well. Cut, rock smash.
30
HM
seconds to
slave.
attack. Get ready.
For a guy with unlimited ammo, you sure like
Zigzagoon better? Got Goon in the name. Enza. I can't have flyers, so Ultron keep a bot on him and me. What the fuck is this guy
Battle
talking about?
starts in 5,
So with the strategist
Bro, stand
Deadpool?
alone.
2,
Yeah.
1.
You don't fuck with strat pool?
All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got
I mean, I don't know. Stratpool and Ultron is the move, bro.
Yeah, I mean that's not a lot of healing, but hey, let's see what happens. I can switch to invisible woman if I need to.
He just said he doesn't know how to look up. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, like what do you mean you can't hit flyers? You got range. Oh, they're coming for me.
You serious right now? What the fuck do you think you're going?
Yeah, they got a Spider-Man. I'm not gonna play a flyer.
Oh, they got. Oh, yeah. They did.
And start the mission area.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm such an invis. So sorry.
Why are you saying sorry?
I'm
to
the
me,
one that
bro?
even gets the
You're
bonus.
the one who gets the team up, bro. I don't get anything for this.
Man, fuck you, Spider-Man.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Hey,
Bro.
tell that guy what's up, bro.
Damn, Deadpool already has ult.
And bro, it's quick, bro. Strategist, you can get it quick, bro. What the fuck?
A little help, please.
Powering up.
Enough dilly-dallying. What do they even got on the team, bro? Little printer? Oh shit, bro. That's crazy. Carla's behind us. Oh, Deadpool ult. What the fuck is all? What
Roll
the
over
hell?
here.
Thankful, dumbass.
Haha, lady bitch.
Us against the world.
Oh, Thankful didn't even get my ass. It was fucking cloak again.
Oh, okay.
Yo, y'all didn't appreciate what I just.
Against the world.
Oh, damn.
Bro, I'll click faster next game, bro. Don't worry. I promise. I wasn't ready. fuck. Oh fuck. Bozo.
Am I a sick Groot or what?
Yeah, you actually might be. Better Groot than Arjun? Question mark.
Who's on point?
Everybody? Oh, you meant them. My lord.
Don't worry, not for
Yo, this
long.
wall actually cooked Angela. I can't lie, bro. You might be the GOAT. You might be the Groot. Groot?
Groat.
I don't like how that one sounds.
The greatest raptor of all time? I definitely am.
The greatest rapper of all time? Raptor or rapper?
Is it Raptor? Yo, no way, he's getting going. Yo.
I love you, Groot. He's getting an invite to Valhalla after that? He
30
definitely is,
seconds before you
bro.
attack. Get ready.
Alright, I'm how the fuck?
Goldilocks.
Surfa, if you could like get Groot with Groot, yeah, that'd be sick. We could use a good Groot on our squad.
Well, if I ever call you by name, it'll be a sign that I'm actually Loki.
Who's the squad, bro?
Yo, Rejected Avengers, man.
Groot squad. Goon squad.
4, 3, 2,
Goon scrap?
all you need to do is capture the
T Dog Goon Scrap
Yeah.
DVD.
Goon rap.
Yeah, that was a little too easy. Yo.
Goon rock?
Maybe I should go back
Oh.
to which one.
Hardy
Now, what I
rock.
was saying about
Find out.
what I did that was sick was after Loki used Cloak and Dagger's ult, I used Mal to take him out. Of, like, yeah. But then it didn't matter because Cloak and Dagger just used their ult after.
Nah, it didn't matter, bro,
Oh,
because they
lit.
didn't have two of them. And this guy start trying to
Oh,
jump off
lit.
my head top. Great. Whoa there, boy.
Come on, Magneto.
He dead.
Oh, nice.
The fuck? Yo, chill, bro. Chill, bro, please. Please. You're too fast.
Weak. There we go.
I've just been holding my ult for anything.
Mission area is yours.
Does that mean I can
I
start
just wait for Cloak and Dagger's ult.
Oh, you shut it. The battle isn't over yet.
Whoa there, boy. Whoa there, boy. Don't go there, boy. Damn. Can't see that one coming. Oh! I died.
Up.
Let me see myself get cooked, bro. Yeah. He really jumped on my head top as I was getting beamed down. All three of my deaths are just cloaked, bro.
That's jokes.
Powering up.
Hey, I was shot for that ult, bro.
Oh,
Action.
Magneto's already dead.
Yeah. Whoops. When did they get a Bucky, bro? You always have a Bucky? Oh, he's dead now.
Us gets the mission area. Keep going.
Oh, hell no.
Can you hear it?
And if, yeah, I haven't got the controller under the table, bro. Like, Monica Lewinsky.
I'm gonna get cooked.
Wait, who? Oh, shit.
Never mind. There's a Mr. F
Mr. F.
touching me
You
inappropriately.
talking about Little Printer, bro? Little Printer? Oh, hell
Oh my
no.
gosh.
Wow. Oh, you're fighting those demons.
Yeah, he wanted me and he got me, I guess.
Oh, hell no. Yo, do not let her take everything, bro. Good shit. Good shit.
Oh, I died.
Oh, Bucky's ultimate.
Damn you. Okay, whatever. One more decent
You have a
push.
Hawkeye now,
Dude,
bro?
you say Rogue is like B tier, A tier, C tier. Where do you place Rogue?
Oh,
I'm gonna find whoever put me
Yeah,
out
like-
last time.
A tier played well. Or like
Yeah?
decently. Yeah, as long as they're not getting stunned, then, you know, they're moving, but... That's a big if.
I got my ult.
I also have my ult.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we took
I
it.
didn't know that was gonna land, so I kind of had to like prove that, but it worked out. Get this rocket out of here. What's it called? Drag scope? That's what I did, bro. Alright.
You'll have to keep
That
fighting
was
until
easy.
we have a winner.
Folks coming.
Oh. They're trying it. They're trying it for sure.
They're trying something.
They're trying it for sure. We didn't even get
They weren't trying nothing.
Could have
Jeez.
saved FaZe,
Yeah.
bro. Honestly, FaZe worth saving, bro?
No.
Like what has FaZe done that's been relevant in the last like 7 years, bro?
Jeez.
Jeez. Trap pool.
Deadpool strategist MVP. I'm telling you, I fuck with Strat Pool. Damn, I'm almost captain with Invisible Woman now.
What level is that? 10?
10, yeah. 20 is Lord, right?
20 is
Yeah, 20's Lord.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, sure. Yeah. 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 Alright, guys. Can I click fast enough this time?
Fucking must be nice, bro, having a fucking mouse.
Pick your hero or villain. I'm not judging.
Let's go!
We fixed
We got
wrong
it.
button.
We got it.
Fuck.
We got it.
You know, unless we do.
Thankful. We got Albino Sum on the team. We got Sandy Cheeks.
Sandy Cheeks.
S94.
S94. What do you think the S94 means?
Sandy Cheeks 94. That, oh, bro. Start flaming in chat if they don't swap. What are you talking about, bro? What are you tweaking about, bro?
Full time, kiddos.
Yeah, we got oh shit.
You want me to play
triple
DPS pool, bro?
Triple tank.
Alright,
With
fine.
me on the front lines.
Fuck it, why
30
not?
seconds before you attack.
This is my worst Deadpool. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You looked out, buddy.
You might see the worst gameplay of your life right now.
Star-Lord, huh? Guess I can finally start calling myself
It's fine, bro.
King then.
Try your best.
Okay, I earned that title. And at least it sounds better than
It's unranked console player? Yeah, I guess you're right,
Battle
bro.
starts in 5, 4, 3, 2,
one I end.
Yo, Sahal, where do you think you would rank if you were on console?
Got it?
Sounds easy.
Bar is
Which
low.
means it's probably not, right?
Speaking of bars,
Saudi
bro,
You're about to find out.
you have Gambit, it's a movie? Bro, I have Justin as Gambit, bro.
Gumbet.
This is the X-Men
Behind the
movie
scenes,
they've
don't
been
let this
waiting
K-pop.
for. Behind the scenes, don't let this K-pop.
Captain America's trying to touch inappropriate.
Oh, I'm dead, bro.
Are you though?
No, I'm not.
Mission area is yours. Faster now.
I've always wanted my own mission.
Holy fuck, bro. Did this guy die already? Oh, I
That's
mean,
top.
bro, this guy's ult
Trying to
already?
surf ult.
Rank 45 worldwide on
Oh.
DPS tank. I believe in that.
Yeah, yo, Sahal, you should watch this guy, yo.
I've got enough mission areas already.
Uh-huh. Sure.
Up on PS4 version?
Love that healing.
Wait till this game comes to the Switch, bro.
Yo, it's real shit.
We'll get this fucking Captain America out of our backline, bro.
Yeah, he's actually a problem, Loki. Yo,
Arjun. Oh, hell no.
Okay, we got some motion.
Bro, get this guy out of here, bro. Can I aim? Can I aim? Can I aim? Can I aim?
I got that Gambit. I sacrificed myself to kill that Gambit.
We
My
need more
guy.
healing, to be honest. Our Jeff's not doing shit.
Crack the whip.
That guy just touched me in Miami, bro.
Their team's captured.
Yo, this is what we needed, bro.
Opening a portal? Yes, we needed to surf on the fucking.
This is what we needed.
That's exactly what we need.
Yo, why you guys hating?
Yo,
What Deadpool's supposed to do? I mean, he's kind of just like Winter Soldier, I guess. And like a little bit of Blade. I don't really know. Switch off Fool, you suck. That's crazy, bro.
Oh my gosh, I'm
Bro
getting
thinks I
violated,
give
bro.
a fuck, bro. That's hilarious.
And I don't even have a portal now.
Why is he talking shit to me and not our fucking 0-2 fucking Mr. Fantastic, bro?
Marvel's never
yo,
gonna be
Surf, if you go Groot again, I think that could be helpful.
I don't think so. Groot was not doing shit.
But I'm Rocket now. Or, oh, yo, Penny?
Nah.
I don't think that team up exists anymore, bro.
Yeah, I think
I'm not
I
doing
think you
no
should
Penny.
I think you should stay as Strange, bro.
I'm not doing Penny. That's only for the comps.
Okay. Need a little bit of warm up, you know? That's all that I need.
Captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going.
The method is flame, so that yeah, definitely it's not gonna work though.
with the amazing Spider-Man.
He ulted both the healers.
Don't worry, bro. Next time I die, I'll type back to him. Bruh, you not.
That's the stuff.
Control lost.
Back and better than ever, baby.
Yeah, he just wants Deadpool really bad, eh?
Like, literally, that's his only game plan right now, bro.
Mind if I do?
To rage you out of it?
Yeah.
He got one down.
Tell me I suck, bro. It's like that's his game plan.
Damn, okay. Yeah, we're probably gonna coach this game.
Who the fuck killed me?
Oh, I died. Rage bait gameplay? Yeah, that might be the method, bro.
You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
Did we lose already? Ah, shit.
Yeah, looks like it.
Shit.
I'm gonna use my ult and just switch on. Oh yeah, we're just some of those games.
Dive in with
Is the
25
game over?
HP. Your teammates are right.
Nah.
Listen, bro. You think I know what I'm doing?
You know,
Let me go back to
just don't get
DPS.
why
I mean, tank
everyone
pool,
hates
bro.
Everyone's favorite merc with a mouth is ready
We do need
to
a
throw
tank.
down, baby.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to our tank, bro.
I was not having fun, bro.
Bro's about
I
to
was not
start
having
typing.
fun.
Seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Is tank pool fun to play? Like, what's his tank? What does he do like as a tank? Or just
In the bottom
Oh, he's got the
what does
like,
taunt mean? Because
taunt? What do you mean? What does taunt mean,
he can
bro?
like some visibility. Like I can see like it taunts. Does it force people to attack you? Like what does taunt do? Like what does it mean in game mechanic wise?
Well, I mean, there's the one where you can take a picture
Some real
after you get a
Okay.
body, and that gives you like invis frames.
4, 3.
Okay.
Um,
You mean invis frames? Like, it makes you
like you're
invisible. for a
invincible.
bit?
Invincible, yeah.
Capture the mission
Oh,
area.
okay.
You can also block like ults and shit if they hit you. If you time it properly,
Oh.
but that's like hard to do.
I think that's what his right bumper does. Like
Yeah, I think like yesterday I
that one.
survived a Moon Knight ult because I killed someone right before it hit, and I just like was taking a picture in the middle of the ult, and I didn't get hit. But as a tank, he has like a shield bubble, I guess, kind of like I don't even know, like Cloak and Dagger, kind of random ass shield bubble.
Area is yours to capture now. Mission area is yours.
Cooked a little bit.
Does that mean I can start
Just a little
redecorating
bit.
it now?
You shut it. The battle isn't over yet.
It's not really like any other tank, to be honest. Just like DPS with like a tank, like a shielding ability.
Interesting. Well, honestly, that's what a strategist feels like to a DPS with just a little bit of healing.
Yeah, because you can still do damage as a.
No, you can do a lot of damage. Yeah, I did
not
equal
the-
amounts of
that's not the
damage in
button I meant
healing
to
when I
press.
played him yesterday. Yo, he's weak, yo. Yo.
Oh!
Cooked.
I thought I died.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
Fuck this guy, bro. He's so ultimate.
Dang.
He actually just swung in so. Yo, I hate this guy.
Of the mission area. Keep going.
A game within a game. How meta.
The Wolverine team up is cringe, bro. Another team up?
Yeah, who does Deadpool? Oh, he has a team up with Jeff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, just Jeff. He's the passive though, the healing passive.
Yeah, bro, this fucking Spider-Man's kind of annoying.
Oh, not the Gambit, bro. Oh, I'm so cooked. I'm so cooked. I'm so cooked.
The area's almost yours.
I don't even know what the Wolverine team up would be.
Who's just about
To
to
be
have
honest.
death on a date?
No.
Control lost.
I'm
Oh, hell no. I died. The strap pool is actually doing good healing.
now I got you. Back and better than ever, baby. Boom! No skill shots.
Bro, can I fucking aim? No, I can't. I genuinely can't.
Found me someone to fight.
You wall bounce with Deadpool? What do you mean wall bounce?
You can wall bounce too. Like, you know, you can bunny hop. You can like have one of those hops off the wall.
Don't you,
Something like
don't you
that.
need your
It
double
resets
jump
the
for that?
timer. You do, but it resets the timer for your like hop or whatever.
Interesting.
Thank goodness this.
Oh, okay, that makes sense, yeah. Like how you can do it off teammates.
Yeah.
And it resets your shit. Okay. Honestly, I've not been doing that because fucking ass.
Yeah, me too.
Loaded and loud.
Jeez, let's go.
Just the way you like me.
At least this guy stopped complaining, bro. Method did not work. You basically played with him if you watch TikToks, bro.
Before you attack.
You need to tap in, bro, so you can play Deadpool.
Who's the hall?
Yeah, bro. Who else?
What do you say? What do you say when I was like, what rank does he think he'd be on console?
He said...
Some impressive heights over the years.
Where was that? Rank 45 worldwide on DPS tank. I'm assuming that was his answer on the question. He said he's updating his game.
4, 3,
Oh shit.
1.
Why did you just copy what he said, bro?
Capture the mission area. Got it?
Sounds easy. Which means
I
it's
couldn't think of
probably not
anything.
Are you trying to inflate my Twitch viewers again, bro?
Inflate? No, I'm not trying to bot.
You're my mod, bro. You gotta at least be watching, bro.
Oh, Daredevil's touching me.
Oh, he got my ass. God dang it.
Yeah, he was a Spider-Man. He's actually pretty decent.
Incognito method got patched? No way, bro.
KO.
This ain't like Periscope, bro. I can't inflate the views.
Ceiling factor?
Capture the mission area.
Yeah, they can have it.
Damn, we got a
I've got
Lord
enough
Daredevil.
Start flaming Mers 1, 2, 2. Oh, this guy switched to Daredevil, bro. This guy switched to Lord Daredevil.
Is that the guy that was raging you?
Yeah. Oh man. This squirrel girl is annoying as fuck, though.
Yeah.
Did Magneto die, bro? Holy
might.
fuck.
Our Daredevil. Our Daredevil lost it.
Yeah, I'm cooked.
Yeah, what? Should I type Daredevil gap in the chat or what's going on?
Not too much.
I think you should. There we go. Last.
Where'd his body go? Oh, there it is.
Fuck.
Y'all good over there?
Yeah,
No.
we figured it out.
I'm out of here, bro. Good luck, bro. Good luck, bro.
It's okay. We're capping the point. We're capping the point. We're capping the point. We're capping the point.
Good luck, bro.
I'm gonna die, but
I'm not leaving you, and the Zerfa was like, I am.
oh, I didn't die. Oh fuck, I did die.
I'm like, yo,
Is
we almost
Plat
got the
3 playing like that? Plat 3? Dude, this is Plat 3 moves, bro.
Okay, a game within a game. How meta.
Okay, I finally got pop quiz.
Yeah, I see you, Surfel.
Why didn't I heal passively? I had too much like damage lost already.
Shields up.
A winning hand.
I think it only works if I take like chunk at a time, not like going into the fight with fucking no health. Why are we pushing up so far?
I don't know. We shouldn't though.
Raffy Taffy, fall back, bro.
Lost that healing feeling.
We captured more than half the station area. Keep going.
Oh, your wall blocked my thing.
My fault.
That's okay. Colin, you could have fucking predicted me for that.
Cuny banner. Oh shit.
He did nothing with his fucking pulse charge.
Oh, bro. Thought he was gonna kill Gambit, bro. Oh, I didn't mean to press that button. Bro, stop pressing this button. Oh, fuck.
You know, Magneto's weak. I can't solo him though.
Alright, I'm trying my best to stay alive right now.
I'm trying my best to keep you alive.
We'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
Fucking Magneto, bro, die! Oh my
Yeah,
god.
I'm dead now. I can't keep you alive.
Oh my god. Tried my best. I think we can still do it. Everybody else is back, right?
Oh my gosh, why did my... Does my ult get sucked in by Magneto's ult?
Marvel's never.
Yes, it's a projectile. So yeah, it does.
Oh, fuck.
Okay, we got one. We still have one push left. I got my ult.
DD gap of the year.
Actually,
28.
How about that?
It's not even that bad. But yo, we'll blame him because he's a Lord icon. Oh, are you serious, bro? Can we just wait here now?
oh what?
Bro, please.
That shit did not work.
I was not about to hit any of those shots. Oh, I'm gonna. Okay, there's my passive at least.
Nah, Surfel. It couldn't work well. Like I was gonna ult on top of your portal, and then I died.
Oh my fucking god, bro. I'm so cooked.
And you guys keep it going for like 30 seconds maybe?
30 seconds? Definitely not, bro. 5 seconds? Maybe. Iron Man can get you some motion? Nah, he's not gonna get you any motion.
I was just about to add the death.
Yeah,
That's
man.
crazy.
I was
It's
gonna
not my fault.
1v6 him as Loki.
You can't expect to win them all.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Origin, let's run it.
Yo, invite.
We're just loading into lobby.
Yo, you got a Poplio, bro? That's big.
Yeah,
bro.
looks like a...
That's big, bro. Yo, Sabajin, what's that update saying, bro? Yeah, I don't think it works like that.
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
You're a freak, bro.
Yeah, I am.
Not you. I'm talking about the motherfucker in my chat, bro.
I mean, there's a whole bunch of freaks, man.
Nah, stop moving free, bro.
What he said?
Yo, where the fuck did Bidoof come from, bro?
Yeah, where the fuck? Where the come, bro?
I was built in humanity's image. Now I shall erase
I'm Groot.
You got a Bidoof though. Congrats, guys.
Turn
30
off.
seconds before you attack. Get ready.
GG no Warlock?
That's crazy.
Arjun, you know what that means.
I'd say you've come a long way to come this round, T'Challa. But,
Wakanda came along with me to the stars.
Add command 1. Bro, what are you typing in my
Battle
chat, bro?
starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You need to stop that vehicle in its tracks.
Permaban anyone that steals my Pokemon? Bro, what the fuck?
Take action before I shut this whole thing down.
This guy got his ult already, bro? Holy
How is
man.
that even possible?
He's just styling on us, bro. I mean, it doesn't do a lot, so it's okay, but
Yeah, I swear, I feel like his ult never does anything.
the other one does more. Pop quiz. Oh, shit.
Oh, bro, why am I not getting healed, bro? Fuck.
Sorry, I
Yeah,
was
healers suck, I can't lie.
fighting demons, bro. What the fuck is anybody? Alright, Black Panther, I can't help you if you're gonna do some shit like that, bro. Okay. Bro, I thought they had Diddy on their team. It's fucking dirty, bro. Diddy, dirty money.
There are always more of me.
Oh my gosh. I just walked all the way there.
And then what happened, bro?
I got cut. Everyone else was dead. Yo, Arjun, wait. Arjun, move it too quick. Just stop for a second.
There's DPS
Bro,
for it here.
Go.
I'm getting harassed and assaulted.
Arjun, go.
Okay, never mind, he's dead.
Arjun, go.
Where the fuck is my team, bro?
Is Arjun?
Bro, Arjun's not trying to pay point. Bro.
Bro, nobody's trying to play point, bro. Point's all the way over there, bro. Only they're
Circle, you
playing.
might be a worse Groot than I am, bro.
I'm
That's
not. I'm
something.
sick, bro.
Y'all going ass for ass right now, bro? Yo, this guy ulted on me, bro, for what, bro?
They were glazing. Some randoms were glazing Surf off for his Groot skills.
Yo, I need heals, bro.
Oh, what the fuck?
Right
Yeah,
here.
the two still.
You're dead, bro. I can't save you. I can't
Exactly.
save you. I'm bad.
Yeah, I'm
Actually
doing
getting
bad.
You know I'm bad.
Nah, I'm about to go crazy.
Oh fuck! Oh, Daredevil on me. Oh, Deadpool on me. Oh, bro.
If I don't go crazy right now, I'm gonna have to go to Portal, man.
You have to do what, bro? Portal, man.
I don't go crazy right now, I gotta go Portal, man.
Okay, Black Panther's locking in right now as we speak.
Deadpool's weak, yep.
Only
Deadpool's
took all of us to kill him.
dead. Yo, I'm getting a Wi-Fi signal. Oh, that's not good.
That's tough.
That's real bad. I can't save you from that one, bro.
Why is he after me? Why is it just me by myself, bro?
Oh hell no,
I'm trying to be
not
away from everyone.
not the shark, bro. Not the yo. Henny, oh shit. Henny
You
gets
guys hate
fucked.
me.
So Pugmaster Jen is kind of like selling
Who's that? Who's that?
Daredevil.
Oh. Yeah, you could have just said that, bro.
Nah, I wanted to know. It's
Daredevil
Pugmaster
gap, bro. It's not our 1 in 4,
There's still a chance.
1 in 5,
Stop that vehicle.
oh, they're both 1 in 5, actually.
Both 1 in 5.
I'm not getting healed, bro. Give me
Bro,
heals.
I genuinely have not seen you other than like the first time you died, bro. You just keep running in there and dying, and then I can't help you, bro. Also, Deadpool's about to kill my ass. I'm dead.
Yeah, they're cooking us.
Yeah.
How about you wait, don't go out and
Okay, let me wait
Because
for
their
you to.
DPSs keep
fuck him.
destroying us.
I'll just wait, bro. Fuck, I'm coming back.
Yeah,
Bro.
why don't you wait, bro?
I'm waiting.
Hey, go. Yeah, what he said.
I would trust
Yeah.
Pugmaster Jen with my life.
Yeah.
He's just so good at this game.
I want that guy to be my doctor, bro.
Oh, we're cooked.
What the fuck is happening?
Yo, Munir's coming clutch.
Bro, just don't look at him, bro. What do you mean, bro? It's not that hard, man.
I don't have to be center stage. Disappear.
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. I'm so cooked.
I'm just upgrading in the middle of the battle. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, don't be doing that, bro.
Feel the wrath of the goddess!
I'm making a comeback.
Yeah, I felt that wrath, I ain't gonna lie.
Wait till they feel that wrath, bro.
Strong together.
I too am waiting.
I do.
I was worried.
Oh,
Oh, what the fuck, bro? Who put that wall there? Yo, please, bro, please.
Don't give them another inch.
Can I hit this fuck ass shark,
Someone
bro?
help me with this motherfucker, bro.
Sorry, fighting demons.
Fuck this shit, bro.
Oh, I'm so cooked. Jeff pissed on me, I can't lie. Oh, this guy switched to Moon Knight, bro.
Someone needs a snowball in the face.
It's a Raps, bro. Wait till they see Raph, bro. Oh, it's over.
Well,
That game was
2
bad.
and 6, bro.
That game was bad.
Oh man. Oh man.
Pugmaster Jen deserved better.
Yeah, honestly, that guy was he was doing the most, bro. 2 and 8.
Yeah.
The most deaths, bro.
4,000
He was doing the
damage
most
blocked.
deaths, bro, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know when people pull out their lords at the end, bro? Crazy, bro.
Jeez, yeah, you can't.
How
hide
far are
it,
you from affiliate, bro? 3 streams with 3 viewers, bro. That's literally it, bro.
Wait, you can't hide your lord anymore?
Nah. At the end of the match, if you're playing Lord, it shows like the Lord symbol above your like thumbs up button.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. So even though you'll have your
you can't
Adam
hide your lord
icon,
anymore, Arjun.
Damn.
now all you can do is not play Lord characters.
Just like the moon.
Okay, bro. 2026 goals. Twitch affiliate, bro.
Bro, you might get reported on with for the revenue.
Yeah.
Like Guggen.
Yeah, bro. I'm already getting reported by my own mods, bro.
Guided me this far. I trust him.
I got more mods than actual like viewers.
There's no way it can be worse than it was last game, right?
Oh, watch this, bro.
Oh.
I tear
Who are you trying to report, bro?
conscious.
Even so,
No one.
maddening.
If
Execute?
I'm on your side, isn't that what you want?
the battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, guys.
All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
First things first. Let's open a portal.
This always goes pretty well for us.
What did a god do on day 1? He opened a portal, right?
God did.
Yeah, they're clueless, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going back through the portal, bro. Yo, now they're killing us, man. Oh my god.
How are they kill? I don't understand. How are they killing us?
Mmm.
Am I the only tank? Yo, fuck. I'm not solo tank. Fuck that shit.
Still no
Justin, play
dead.
tank pool, bro. Uh oh. Okay. Never mind.
All right.
This guy switched off tank.
Wait, Jeff's heal like attacks the enemies now? What?
Bro, when's the last time you played this game, bro?
What the fuck?
It's been like that for a minute though, like at least like a year now, I think.
And they nerfed this. They nerfed this guy's like the L2, bro. You can't just run that shit no more. Can't just.
Wait,
spam
you
that
can't just
shit
keep
no
running
more.
it forever, yeah.
This game is a year old.
changed that a
Yes,
minute
sir. Game is a year. And a
Oh,
month. Oh,
fuck.
yeah, I got shit on for real, bro. I got hooked into, got fucking honked on, got fucking dunked on, got fucking touched on. I didn't ask for none of that.
Oh fuck, I'm the only tank.
Bro.
Tank pool is the only tank.
Ultron, get this guy out of here, bro. Oh, he lived. He lived.
I require some aids.
Oh my god. They turned you into Liam Payne, bro. They did worse than that, bro. They turned me into his career, bro.
Khonshu, watch over me.
Oof.
What are you typing in chat, bro?
It never falls. Our enemies on the moon haunts and dangerous fall again.
Are you?
What's going on, bro? What's going on?
I don't know, bro. Yo, you remember when you said it couldn't get worse, bro? It's gotten worse, bro.
What's happening?
I don't know. I'm locked out right now. Hold on, let me lock
It all
back
started with that fucking portal, bro. Oh, I'm at that bitch. I'm at the bitch.
in. Bro, where the fuck did he shoot that, bro? He shoot that into the fucking sun? Yo, where am I getting shot from? Oh,
Yo, it's Amanda behind us.
Amanda's behind us?
Yo,
Hey, yo, get the motherfucker in the sky, bro. Someone, please.
Come on, Khonshu.
Butterfly in the sky.
yo, I just got my second upgrade. That's how shit I'm playing.
Yeah,
All right.
you got it, bro.
Better.
We believe in you. We
Yo,
believe in
climb in
that.
here. Got a kill.
Bro. Free base, bro.
It looks like it.
No worries.
Where the fuck are these
Free
guys?
base.
Where the fuck are these
Oh,
guys?
I swallowed like 4 of them.
Oh!
Put them on our side.
That would have been good to know.
Motherfucker, stop.
I thought they were coming from the
He's just
spawn, bro.
okay.
I turn around there.
Oh my god, who the fuck?
Get up, my
Fucking right
fist.
behind me, bro. I'm playing like dog shit right now. Oh, they got revived too?
Are you serious? We had though, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, something
Yo,
like
you
that.
know we need to surf out a portal.
Only 60 seconds left.
Way ahead of you, man.
Unironically,
Funny.
You're ahead of
might
me?
help.
The same thing.
Yeah, he was actually in the animation of portal when we did that.
Jeez, yo, that sounds good.
Let me out of here, let me out of here, let me out of
Hey,
here.
don't enter that.
Don't enter that one? What the fuck do you mean don't enter that, bro?
Yo, bro, surf out. The Moon Knight got an onk out, and now he's not even in my view. I'm not in his view, and he's still man. Oh man.
Y'all saw that?
Dog, when you're just clutched up.
Chat, y'all saw that?
Jeez.
Alright, I'm gonna let the Ultron do his thing,
How do
bro.
you show your
Destination.
experience health?
Do you not have a map? I'm directionally challenged.
Yo, I think
Just stick with your team.
I don't
Wait,
like
Jeff,
tank pool, bro.
Jeff can't just camp underneath anymore.
Underneath
What
what?
does this game come to, bro?
Oh, like under the water, bro?
Yeah.
Bro. Obviously not, bro. That should be busted, man.
Nah, bring it back.
Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. Can I hit Deadpool at all? Oh, no! Fucky.
yeah, I'm gonna go strategist
Guess
pool.
Khonshu's got my back.
Okay. You do you, boo-boo.
Bro, I promise I can't solo take this game, bro. There has to be a second
He's not
tank.
much of a tank. He's not much of a tank. He isn't really too much.
Get that vehicle moving again.
I have 2,000. Sorry, 8. Never mind. I have 8,000 damage blocks.
Bro, I need more than one tank, bro.
Says we cannot fail Wakanda.
But what if I can keep you alive, though? You know what I mean? Triple healer.
Thank you very much.
Alright, heal me. Heal me then.
Bro, somebody get this fucking Ultron.
Almost didn't make it again. Beautiful, baby. The moon haunts you. Wait, I didn't.
Okay.
Oh hell no! No, you fucking bitch!
Armed and dangerous. Back where
It's not looking
I
good,
started.
guys.
I'm fine. Leave me alone.
Platinum Hunter, bro. I don't like that guy, bro. I don't like how that guy's moving, bro.
The moon haunts you.
60 seconds left.
Oh man.
Bro, Ultron is just like camping you, bro. Bro, what is this, bro? I'm getting shot from like 3 different angles.
Third portal.
Very much.
No, it's bad. They know. Don't go that way, bro.
Fuck this guy's portals, bro.
Oh, it's gone.
Seconds.
Good.
Good riddance, bro.
We must not delay any longer.
Bro, how's this guy
Oh,
0
they
and
killed me
10?
before I could go. Damn. 8 assists.
Wow, you got one, bro. 1 in 10, bro.
Don't let me get one, bro.
Can I hit anything? Oh, definitely not. Definitely not, bro. Why did I switch to Magneto?
Fear it, bro.
Oh yeah, I'm scared, bro. Where the fuck? Yo, chill, bro.
Vehicle reached the checkpoint. Keep up the momentum. That's 3.
All right,
Motion.
something like that.
A little bit.
Bro, kill this guy, bro.
Yeah, he's
Why is
alone.
this guy always here?
Ultron never
Hey,
dies,
come back,
bro.
bro.
He's
Like,
just through here. He's coming.
everyone beeline.
Cause why that guy always alive?
Deadpool's flanking.
You know.
Don't let anything
Who the fuck is
Dog's
this?
Bucky's so fucking.
Only 60 seconds left.
Damn, I'm impressed at us getting this far, bro. We were not playing off
yeah.
We're fresh.
Oh, I didn't mean to press that button. I can't lie.
I know you are, but what am I?
I am Groot.
Now I see them.
Ooh.
Double KO. 30 seconds.
Oh, I was gonna portal still.
Okay, what's stopping you, bro?
I got revived.
Bro, that might have been my best.
MVP just for that, bro. That's all. He deserved it, bro.
Don't let Arjun get one.
No, MVP. Yeah, portal man. Yeah,
Portal man.
turn those.
Most valuable portal.
Yeah.
Alright.
One of those 3 was it, bro. most various portals. Most various portals.
Highlight's gonna be a portal, bro. Highlight's gonna be a
Most
portal.
varied, most varied portals.
Dude, there's not even a portal in this clip, bro.
Damn.
It's just on cooldown for another 45 seconds.
There's not a portal.
Bro, I think all 3 of your portals were like shit.
Yeah, they're still top 3 portals though. This game for sure.
Yeah, all 3 of them were in the top 3 at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I think your first one was the best portal. Like if we're talking about the time span from when the game started, so like a minute from there.
Yeah, it was the
portal.
fastest one. Yeah. Like
For sure,
it
yeah.
won the race. Yeah, for sure.
Pick your hero or villain. I'm not judging.
With me on the front
look
lines,
at the
we
screen.
can't lose.
Trash Lord. Who said
Damn,
that,
this guy's like a
Whoa!
insane Moon Knight. Look at him. I've never
That
seen
guy,
that
bro.
before.
That guy's at least level 55,
Whoa,
bro.
what?
That's
More than me.
That guy's level 55,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
At least.
Bro, I'm not even like that on Loki. That's how insane he is.
Yeah, what if he's ass?
He probably is. That's the funny part.
He might be. I mean, that many. Yo, that's insane.
Yeah, this guy's like compensating for something, bro.
Swords.
I can't just let the stat line show for itself, bro. Why does he gotta be fucking bobbing up and down when I press tab?
I'm ready for action.
Insane,
30
bro.
seconds before
Oh, they got
your
Yo,
pound
what happened
cake
to
on
Jalen
that.
Johnson, bro?
What do you mean?
What happened to
Jalen Johnson, bro.
What happened to that boy?
With ancient gods once in a
Oh,
Poo-poo.
right, Doc?
On occasion.
They eat the poo-poo?
CJ McCollum, bro. First he ruins the NBA, now he's ruining Jalen Johnson.
Jalen Johnson's just a Trey Young merchant, bro.
was he
Ooh, I
actually?
like that. Nah, you
No.
carry the team without Trey Young.
3,
But
I
maybe
had Jalen Johnson one time in our league, maybe 2 years ago in our league, or it might have been my
to the mission
work
area.
league or some shit. But
I'm
he
like,
was so
why
sick.
is Strange standing?
His
And then I
rookie year.
realized what was happening, bro.
You're about
Oh.
to find out.
yo, Jet.
We're
Oh
on our
my
way to
God.
greatness.
Bro, she's just standing there. She's just standing there. Oh, fuck.
The mission area is yours to capture now.
I've always wanted my own mission.
The mission area is
Damn,
yours.
yo.
W portal.
W portal
Am I
for,
right?
yeah, that was actually a good portal, bro.
Now,
You shut it. The battle isn't over yet.
Thank you, bro.
Ooh, upgrade?
within a game. A
Let
meta.
me get that. Desert Eagle upgrade.
Random back here.
I choose you.
Oh, yeah?
What are you aiming at?
Kill Deadpool. Thank you.
Just business. Okay, and a little play.
Who's bro diving on,
He's
bro?
fucking one shot. Yeah, we're fucking them right now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Damn, MK really was as advertised, bro.
MKBHD, bro?
Mission area. Keep going.
Yo, you see the knife you reviewed, bro?
The vibrating knife, bro?
Yeah, I'm copying
Yeah,
that.
it's kind of tough, bro. Didn't he say like it was low-key useless, bro? Well,
He was like, okay,
okay, but like,
he's
bro,
like, yo, let me compare.
did he try using it outside of the
He's
kitchen
doing the
though?
same shit.
Did he try using it outside the kitchen though?
Oh yeah, I see someone saying, keep this out of like the UK, bro.
Yeah. vibrating knife, bro. It's insane.
Bro, you got to wire shit.
Yeah,
Yo, you ever charge your doorbell with your couch?
bro.
Nah, never.
Yo,
even heard of
your business's door ever get locked because the API's down, bro, on the lock app.
Holy fuck, bro. That shit was so funny, man. That is so funny, bro.
Haha, lucky fish.
Let's keep fighting until we have a winner.
Bro, I was just mad that my jacket was in there because I could like went on like a side quest.
Ready to put on
Oh yeah, that's tough.
Yo, the Scarlet Witch wants me.
Yo, I want you.
Scarlet Witch is one.
Happy
Yeah, she's
birthday.
dead now. Hey, I mean, she's got half her team's kills.
Holy fuck, they got 2 bodies?
Yeah.
Sorry, not half. She has all her teams. Oh my god.
Yeah. Deadass, she has all the team's kills.
I'm gonna lie, if you die, bro.
Goddamn time.
Alright.
I was saying,
Yeah, alright, bro. You cut out, but I heard you, bro.
you heard
Like
me?
if you die, you're bad or something, you know.
Hey, you got the point.
Y'all don't understand, bro. It was bait. Like, I got their attention off you guys.
Ready?
Also, Scarlet Witch is meant to take out, you know, flyers and shit.
Rita's glad to have another genius around to help him solve this, Tony.
Same. He takes my brilliant ideas and makes them ever so slightly better.
I mean, Moon Knight's 13-0 and we're winning, so.
Bro, that Moon Knight better be 13-0, bro. That guy's level 60, bro.
Do y'all know what time it is?
That guy has 250
Portal
hours
time?
on Moon Knight at least, bro.
The
Portal
battle
time.
starts in 5,
Portal Man?
3,
Portal
2,
time.
1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Sounds easy. Which means it's probably not,
Get
right?
to work.
You're about to find
Back to witness greatness.
Looks like we're going to work.
Oh fuck, they're already here.
Alright. You got one.
Oh!
Oh no! Oh my god! Yo, you're funny, bro. That's crazy. Imagine she just got all the rest of her kills right there, bro. Oh, that would've been fucked, man. Yeah, that's actually jokes.
Fuck, man. This invisible woman's on my case.
How the fuck did I die?
Hey, we got the point though, right?
You get Deadpool?
Oh, we
Nice.
blow too.
mission area is yours.
Oh, there's no one else here to fucking shoot, bro.
I'll get the Scarlet bitch.
Scarlet bitch, I like it.
I like it a lot.
I got it. Very nice, come here.
Let me take a picture on them. Legs on it. Oh shit.
Yo.
Oh shit. I didn't mean to.
Exterminating time.
Oh, upgraded by accident mid-fight. You know how it goes. Let me out Deadpool that Krakatoa. So, are you still watching, bro? Is this the Deadpool gameplay you wanted to see? Who did you even shoot that at, bro?
Keep going.
The fuck?
There's a warning shot.
Which I think that's it.
Warning ult is crazy, bro.
Like, that's how insignificant they are. Like, you can just like shoot that shit into the void.
Bro. Oh, fuck, they froze my ass. No, I needed that. Fuck. Oh, I bricked
What if I
it.
froze your ass?
I bricked it.
Oh, they have a cap now.
Kapatawa.
Well, then, if they have a cap, what's
Yeah,
Sabo
yeah.
gonna do?
We have a Hulk.
No, I died.
Tough Manir, I tried.
My first death. Yo, Surf, are we saying about dying again?
I died one.
I'm just asking. What were you saying, bro?
Fucking bitch asses.
Keep fighting until we have a winner.
This book has pictures. Hope you're at least celestial rank.
Shields up.
How is this guy still fucking alive? The Daredevil.
Not anymore.
The Daredevil. I don't got a Daredevil.
Get that bitch!
Yeah, we got the bitch.
Oh, get this bitch, bro.
Nice. There you go.
Yes, sir. But how do you get out of this
It's a
so
healer
quick?
keeping him alive.
Oh, he's in his ult, bro. He wasn't gonna die anyways.
Oh, he's there. We go.
Oh, what the fuck?
We showed them.
We did in fact show them.
Plus
I'm
charge.
dying twice.
Damn, yo, this Super Lord wasn't even our fucking ace.
Super Lord.
Portal man.
Yeah, it was our Portal Man. Portal Man. We just gotta get a theme song, bro. Portal Man.
Most valuable portals. Wait, J-Dub ass too? What's going on, bro?
Oh, J-Dub's injured.
Basically. Yeah.
Bro is ranked 150th. Season
Yeah.
rank 80th, and he's on the can't cut list.
My second pick. I fucked it.
No, it was a good pick at the moment.
At the moment.
Nah, you could have traded him for. Trade him.
For who?
You're funny.
I don't remember what the offer was, but it was good.
We're just saying shit.
Yo,
So how here?
if you guys want DeAndre Ayton or Draymond Green, let me know.
Well, I offered you 2 white men and you said no.
We gotta offer better white man.
I don't have better white men. Those.
That was his
That's all I got.
that was his best white man, bro.
Fuck. Alright, you know what? I'll reconsider it.
I'll give you Zach.
Yo. Yo, Peyton
Ooh.
Pritchard for Luka Doncic.
No, it can't be Peyton Pritchard.
Can't be Luka. Payton's too dark for his
If you had like TJ McConnell for like Andrew Nemhard, like I would consider that.
Just as long as it's the white price, bro.
Finally, someone with knowledge.
Pick your hero or villain. I'm not judging.
Fuck you. Damn it.
You would have been the second person to get it anyways if it wasn't me, bro.
Fuck you.
Yo, fuck you reference.
Fuck you.
Fuck you reference. Yo, fuck you.
Man,
Something
good
wrong.
times.
Big Grippa 1.
Big Grippa. Hey.
Hey.
No, you know who I miss?
Mark online.
I do miss Mark Online, but also I miss Torta Magnet, bro.
Torta Magnet, bro.
30 seconds before you attack.
That's
Get
big,
ready.
bro. Everyone report Stickopotamus is a racist.
Doc, you never told me where you learned all those tricks.
It's called camartage. Not exactly on any brochure.
So you weren't bitten by a radioactive wizard?
Peter, please.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Just like Rappy Tappy for real, bro.
All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got
Bro,
it?
Sounds easy. Which means it's probably
why does Daredevil have such a big hit, bro? I can't learn all this shit.
You said big hit?
Big hit.
Kid.
Big hit?
Yo,
Yo! Yo! Fuck. Oh no, buddy! I pressed the wrong button. Oh shit.
The mission area is yours to capture now.
I've always wanted my own mission.
Fighting. Mission area.
Does that mean I can start redecorating it now?
Shut it. The battle isn't over yet.
There's a Psylocke.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is annoying.
Oh hell no. I don't like that, bro.
Yeah, their Black Panther is not bad.
What the fuck? Is it Black Panther? Oh hell no.
Yeah. He's been cooking us, honestly, in the back line. Yo, what the actual?
What are you talking about?
Hulk is just right back here touching us.
Holy fuck. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no.
We doubled it. Bro saw me steal his ult and was like, you know what, let me use it at the same time. That's actually so fucking stupid.
What the fuck?
What the fucky?
Pictures.
How did we get motion? I genuinely have no idea how we got motion.
Oh, I ulted the. I ulted. And we killed them.
Okay.
Did they portal?
You don't even have a strange, bro.
Oh.
Nobody else is portaling except for
Okay.
you in this whole game, bro.
Yo, you're the portal man, don't worry.
Since I hopped on, you're the only strange I've seen.
Oh, I fucking.
I'm so cooked, bro. Holy.
This Hulk and Black Panther are not making my life easier.
Think I like these odds. Guess that makes me un-Deadpool.
Demonir.
Mm-hmm.
How about you protect the back line, and I'll handle the front line.
You just open a portal?
Oh, I got that. Damn, Hulk got me, bro.
Yo, this is Joe.
A game within a game. How meta.
Okay. Don't even worry, bro. One more upgrade till I get my top shit, bro.
Looking good.
That's
Yo, we got fucking this bastard over here. Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Waited long enough. We're doing this. What are you aiming at?
Glory's almost yours.
Somebody get this fucking Hulk on the side, bro.
Fuck this Hulk, bro.
Oh, hell no.
Let's keep fighting until we have a winner.
Bring on the chaos.
They thought.
I'm getting cooked. Oh, my aim. Oh, my aim. Not real firepower, bro. I'm dead. Fuck. Yo, you got a portal, bro?
What the actual?
Come back here.
I'm cooked, yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen Henny play Bucky before, bro.
Let's give it another shot.
I have never played Bucky.
I'm like, yo, is this guy cooking right now?
I'm cooking,
I do
bro.
not have a portal, so just get on point. Get on point. Get on point. Get on point.
You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
I was on point, bro.
No.
Upload it for me, okay? Go Deadpool. In your birthday.
Fuck, what do you mean I have to reload, bro?
Top.
Okay. That's big. That's big. Bro, upgrade this fucking shit already. Oh, bro. I went to the portal by accident, bro, before it even happened, bro.
Okay, we got
Cloak's
their,
low, cloak's low. Nice.
That's huge.
Nice. Let's go, Spider-Man pulled Hulk off the map. We can live that. We can live that.
Should be able to get
She won't make it in time. She was not gonna make it in time. Oh, maybe she made it in time. No, she's dead anyways. Let me take a picture on her. Flex.
Ah.
Holy, that was only round 1.
Yeah, I was going to say, bro. I feel like round 1.
Everyone's favorite merc with a mouth is ready to throw down, baby.
Yeah, I did 15,000 healing in the first round. It's a lot for a quick match.
Yeah, I did 1,000 healing.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Your K-pop sensation, Luna Snow. I'm so excited I could scream like a little girl.
Do you know me?
I don't just know you. I know every piece of your choreography. Wanna dance while we fight?
Sounds fun. But I have an image to maintain.
Yeah, what you guys think about Carney allowing Chinese bars and shit?
4, 3,
Fire, bro.
2.
2.
I'm about it, yeah. Trying to see some
All you need to
BYD.
do is capture the mission
Yeah.
area. Got it?
It's that's for the consumer. It's like
Competition, bro. That's what we need, bro, in the market.
About to find
No,
out.
seriously, yeah, I'm fucking for it. Hopefully their like $10,000 Chinese EV won't be like 40 G's here. That would suck.
Great. I mean, there's no
Yeah.
tariffs, so it's like I think once you factor in like import costs, we should be okay.
Yeah, no, I think so too. I think so too.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like, you know, some sort of economic benefit. Like, it wouldn't just be like
Oh, did
fucking
you win that
a
fight?
super fucking expensive
Oh,
ass
did you win
car,
that fight, bro?
Less
I
Teslas.
did. I just did not win that fight.
I'm good.
Yo, what the fuck? Oh, I'm so cooked. Never
Yeah,
mind.
yeah,
Never mind.
we're-
Never mind. We're back. We're
They-
back.
they-
We're back. Oh, never mind. We're not back. We're not back. Outpaced the shit
Yeah,
out of me.
nah, they got this one. Not gonna lie.
Turn around, bro.
Hey, team! Oh, come on! I was just about to ask death on a date!
Are you gonna portal, Surfel?
Nah.
I think it's just portals for no reason, bro.
Muscles for no reason.
Bro.
Man.
Their team's capture progress is past the halfway point.
Bruh.
Bruh.
Hey, MVP on the way.
Oh, it's moving! No!
You're a funny guy, bro.
Man.
Are we serious right now?
Honestly, it's kind of on us for going through the portal every time.
Yeah. I don't doubt that.
Oh, boy. This just started moving, bro.
They've almost got it.
Yo, they've almost got it.
I picked that position specifically.
Specifically?
Switching up positions for you.
Yeah, I have ult. Maybe we can get motion.
Show before ass.
Travel before ass.
Let's keep fighting until we have a winner.
Yeah, it's over.
Nah.
What are you aiming at?
Oh my god.
This is real firepower!
Oh, yeah, I'm done.
I'm on point, I'm on point, I'm on point.
Great
What
effort,
died?
guys.
Bro, who's that wall helping, bro? Can I get help, please? Iron Fist.
You're for a guy who's actually trying.
19 and 6, bro. That guy's
Fucking loser.
definitely trying, bro.
Yeah, what a nerd for
Just
putting
wait till you
effort.
see what's in my pouches this time.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Spill the tea, Hawk guy. How do you go a whole battle and never run out of arrows? Is that a magic quiver? Wow. The multiverse really needs its chi balanced.
The battle starts starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Sounds easy. Which means it's probably not, right?
You're about to find out.
Can I aim? Oh, I can't aim. Jesus Christ.
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now.
I've always wanted my own mission.
Stop talking and start fighting.
Was he telling to switch?
No, no.
Mission area is yours.
Does that mean I
Yeah.
can start redecorating it now?
The battle isn't over yet.
Bro, I actually can't aim for shit, bro.
You are nothing.
Fucking bitch.
Looks like we've got ourselves whatever that a game within a game. How meta.
His Psylocke's still alive here in the back.
This officially makes us BFFs now.
Oh, fucking Iron Fist and Black Panther are beefing, bro.
That's funny. He was typing and I killed him. That was funny. So I think Henny got molested over here by Psylocke.
Damn.
Someone brought protection.
Hey, stupid, are you dumb? Pick one. Wait, is this guy trying to win?
Oh my god, for a fucking hole. Such a nerd.
Us against the world.
God damn.
I'm back. Guess that makes me un-Deadpool.
Sorry, no escaping us now.
Not that healing feeling.
Oh, yo, Hulk is flanking behind you.
This is real firepower. Beacon of the unicorn. I choose you.
Oh, not the fucking rocket ult, bro.
Yo, Psylocke is just silently taking us out from the back so hard.
Silently.
I'll get her like one shot and then she just dashes away and I can't do anything.
Your team's
Yeah.
capture progress has passed the halfway point.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. I was just about to ask Death on a date.
Bruh.
Where the fuck is this guy, bro?
Holy shit, yeah, I don't wanna fucking...
Alright, we on point, we on point.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
we
about
not.
to get cooked, bro.
Trust the process, trust the process.
I'm dead. Oh, trust the
Trust the
process?
process.
Yeah, no, I'm trusting the process now. I see the process. I see the process now.
I know it's gonna... I mean, is he gonna get it off in time though?
Yes, he will. I believe in him. I'm jumping now. Go, go, go.
You'll have to keep fighting until we have
Okay, I got two buddies.
Psylocke's dead. Hulk's one shot. Nice. Nice. Where's BP at? Oh, he's dead. Nice.
Oh, where do we
Yo,
have a portal? Oh, fuck, yeah, I missed the portal.
The raccoon just took his death, bro.
See, I told y'all we'll get it, bro.
Yeah, we
You
just
just have
have
to-
the ult.
You
That's
just have
what
to
it was.
believe.
You just
Sorry,
gotta
me and Portal Man do
believe.
his thing. Oh, we're gonna get cooked now.
Dialogue's coming.
Salad back, salad back.
Nice. Oh, that's bad.
That's what I was waiting for. That's the bad one.
Yeah, I can. This is basically a healing off at this point, done. Oh my god. Okay, we got him.
Oh, fuck the portal.
Oh,
MVP,
I'm
bro.
a bad boy, man.
MVP portal, bro.
Bro, that bitch is weak. The Phoenix bitch. Yeah, yo.
Let's
No
go.
way. We only won, yo. Look
They
at
didn't
that.
believe in us.
They didn't believe in
Again.
us.
He's mad.
Why is he so
1v6.
mad?
1v6?
He's not even that way. He's like,
Wait, what do you mean 1v6? Talk about.
yeah, it was not a one.
Who is this guy talking about, bro?
This is so funny.
You got gifted kills at the end.
In the squad.
I'll heal in the chat.
Talking to
bro.
her.
31k fucking healing pro in a quick match. Is Ultron.
Yeah, you played like 3 different healers, bro. Relax.
I barely got any heals as Invis, so I'm not gonna count that. I got less than 3,000 heals as Invis. Just kind of
These guys
embarrassing.
are just yapping, bro.
Yeah, they actually are.
They'll be who's.
It's because of
I
Mad
wanna-
Moon's 2,500 healing.
On my left, I just want to see. Are they done? I was enjoying that.
Look at
And I had.
You got killed by everyone. Wow, I wish I had talent unlocked.
this fucking quick match.
I love it.
I can hold left click the entire time. You didn't kill me once. 0 talent.
Okay, Kitty Man finds someone better.
He's talking to your own teammate, bro.
You're getting bricked in, yeah, seriously.
Mortal,
Go play Roblox.
Mortal V6.
Portal carry.
You had less kills in the final fight.
Damn. Alright, should I queue?
Yeah, I think they're done now.
Oh.
Nah, I'm
Bricks. Wait.
Wait.
Did you miss me saying in the chat who bricked up right now?
I missed that.
That was right before Portal V6.
I did not see that.
Who bricked up right now?
You'll need a top 15 to win this one.
Alright,
Who
you
else high as fuck
can
right
have
now?
Deadpool. You can have Deadpool.
Origin,
Yo,
Who
yo.
else high as fuck right now, bro?
Oh, I love that guy, man.
You remember when Rajan got Karis Levert? Fucking hilarious.
Who else high as fuck right now? Who else want the dude with cancer?
Me.
Mm,
When? They got stankiest Fanger on their team, bro. Yo, they got Mad King Pool on their team, bro.
Get ready.
Mad King Pool.
Yo, what do you guys know about Mad King, bro?
My
Emmett, where
I know
you at?
Jamie Lannister's
Emmett, where you
stabbing in
at,
the
bro?
back.
It's Richard's Namor.
So one time Emmett's his Minecraft account got hacked, so he had to remake his like username or some shit, and he made it Mad King, like MADDKI1 or like NG. I'm like, bro, what is this? Biting my whole shit.
Series is coming out on Sunday, right? Like the Dunkin' Egg one.
Yeah, I heard it was heard George R. Martin's involved in that one more than House of Dragons.
Yes?
So the House of Dragons, he didn't really like have that much input.
Yeah,
No, I think season 1, season 2 he did.
Yeah, he got like booted off.
Fall
Like,
the fuck off.
he got like
that's right. Yeah. He gave an interview recently.
like
Alright, I'm here now. I was AFK for a minute.
you were JFK for a minute, bro.
Something like that. Yeah. How do you know?
I wonder what happens if you do that on an auto aim character. Does it even work?
Well, I don't even know what that fucking thing does, man.
If you miss, you take damage. If he puts it on you and you miss, you take damage, or you take damage. That's basically it. And if you don't, and if you don't shoot,
I die?
and if you don't shoot, you take damage over time.
Oh, fuck. I'm just used ult.
Only just begun.
You guys, are we cooked?
Arjun!
We need to stop that vehicle in its tracks.
Alright, yo.
Yeah, what's up?
Back for real. We're just getting a can of Coke.
Oh my God, we're back.
Oh no, that's a tackle.
Brothers, sisters, everybody. We got Mewtwo 2 on the team. That's crazy.
Just stop scrolling and start moving, okay?
Mewtwo was like one of my favorite legendaries for a while when you could get him in a Cerulean Cave. He's also
So them gave?
Okay.
something like that, yeah. And you could get him before the red fight, if I remember. Or was he after the red fight?
I think it might
Yo,
have been.
Iron Man made this with a box of scraps in a cave.
And it gave.
Consider yourself conquered. How refreshing.
Guava?
Denizens of the deep.
Punisher versus Punisher, bro. Moon Knight versus Moon Knight. Strange versus Strange. Stratpool versus Stratpool.
Ah, I was supposed to.
Damn.
Yo, get near me. Yo, you're taking a lot of damage to film.
Like the
Bro, get this guy to the fucking turret, bro.
rises again.
The guy's just chilling there.
Made it halfway! Stop them!
They made it halfway. Stop them.
World!
We're halfway there.
Get near me if you can.
W reference.
Oh, I bricked it. Oh, I missed it. I'm ass. I'm ass?
Castle went down fighting.
Yo, when's Doomsday coming out this year?
Like December, bro?
December. December 9th.
December year.
I think December 19th or some shit. It's coming out the same time as Dune 3.
The moon haunts you. Leave them.
Doomsday.
Judge.
They're both like 4-hour movies though, right?
Executioner.
We don't know. We don't.
We don't know. Oh. I'm just seeing some dumb shit now.
You don't know what's in
What's
store
But you know what you're here for.
for.
Get near me.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
I'm healing, bro. Get in the thing.
Some people just don't want to be healed, bro. Some people don't want to hit us.
Seriously, bro. Foreigner just like avoiding the heals.
If you don't want to be saved, bro,
Don't say it, bro.
Double KO! They hit a checkpoint. Now might be a good time to stop them.
Oh my god.
So where the fuck's the spawn, bro? Oh, the spawn moved? That's why I can't get healed here? Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are cooked.
Yeah. Yo, their Thor is just molesting us, eh?
Maybe on lol.
On his burner, Mr. Robust.
Could be, bro.
It'd be like robust with the bust in all caps, you know?
Nah, he's
For
he's
robusty?
boosting, bro.
Can you hear me, Manir? No, you're good.
What if I'm not good, bro?
Alright, yo. Enough's enough.
Four DPS, 2 healer. Let's go.
Oh, that's tough, that's tough.
By the
Oh, did I get killed?
Yeah.
That's tough.
GG's, bro. GG's, bro. That was it.
Nah, come back. We need a portal. We need a portal.
I'm scored, bro.
Grab portal.
Don't give them another inch.
We definitely need a portal, bro.
I have made my share of mistakes, but I am fighting every day to make amends.
Oh my god.
Damn.
He cracked it so hard at the end, oh my god, at that Moon Knight.
Mew is better?
Damn, son. Where did you this?
Internet.
Damn.
Damn.
On my
Damn.
screen it showed I got it first before, like... it
Dr.
fully loaded, I
Stinkle
guess.
MD, bro? Nah, definitely not, bro.
He might have. This...
I tear through the cloudless night.
Dr. Stinkle MD.
Eat nuts and kick butts.
Ah, no healer game?
What do you mean? We gotta
You know a word I don't like?
Oh, my tail. Yeah, it's
Healers?
super warm.
Krakoa.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
One of the best Iron Man skins, and it was free. You gotta respect it.
Real tough guy.
Free.
Yo, Justin, what website do you use for torrents mostly?
Break.
I mean, we're on stream, so I don't know if we can talk about that. I mean, we can talk about pedophilia, rape, and everything else, but like, streaming's like...
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, some lines you
fair.
can cross, bro.
2, 1. All you need to do
It rhymes with the
is
Kyrit
area.
Bay.
Got it?
Oh, okay. Just classic.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, you don't know what I'm talking about. You need me to be more specific?
Never heard of it. Yes.
Yeah, I'm AFK, by the way.
AF gay?
They already got Arisen, bro.
Yo, they were quick, man.
Yeah, bro. He actually has a wire on him. Why do you think he asked the question, bro?
Whoa, yo. Damn,
To
man.
maintain your status in New York, you had to snitch on me or some shit.
He had to condemn Hamas, bro.
Yo, your border patrol person, the one that denied you that time, might actually make you do some shit like that, though. Like a crazy bitch.
Condemn Hamas.
Facts.
Alright, yo.
Yeah, what's up?
Bounding back into action.
Okay.
Yeah, how's this guy getting healed so quick?
Exterminating.
Execute. Execute.
Double KO.
My name's Jeff.
Oh, I break that one.
When you're kind of deep. My drone's not on you anymore.
I'm on the point, bro.
Never mind. I thought you were dead. I was say you're not MD still. My bad.
What is it like talking?
This feels like the same team we played earlier, but it's not.
Just so they have a Black
Because they got a
Panther?
Squirtle Girl. They got a dead Thor. I mean, they're not Thor anymore.
They had a Thor, yeah.
Yeah, it was the Thor, the Black Panther. I've seen flashbacks.
You've captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going.
No!
Oh.
Control lost. Their team's capture progress has passed the halfway point.
Bro, why am I playing Squirrel? We don't even have an Iron Man anymore. What am I doing, bro?
If I'm not joking about something, you know I'm not taking it seriously.
Oh, hell no.
Nah. I was all the way in the sky and fucking Jeff still got me.
We're just gonna take us to our spawn, bro?
This guy's dumb. Where's he going?
Take us to our
Yeah,
spawn,
get him.
bro.
This is good, bro. Pussy.
Whoa,
not the trembling before
whoa,
fast.
whoa, whoa, trembling
Yo,
before
switch
ass.
terminate.
Bro.
Yo, use.
I'm getting near you. Half feet.
Oh, I'm so cooked. Oh, never mind. I live.
Ah.
Okay.
Good Jeff over here.
His name Jeff.
Target is captured.
Name is Jeff.
You think they'll ever make 23 Jump Street, or is that just a fucking dream?
If they have a good script, I hope they do.
Didn't this? I mean, hasn't Channing Tatum said like there is a script made? He's read it. He loves it.
Oh,
Just
then
like
that
produce,
was
like
all
it's just
dope.
producer issues,
Oh,
rights and shit. Ego.
he goes.
Yo, Jeff Sunshot.
Double KO. You're better than they are.
So exposed.
You're doing better than they are. I haven't heard that call out before.
Oh, that's an old one, bro. Maybe you just never heard that, bro.
That says more about you.
Just snitched on himself a little bit there.
You'd be arrogant too.
Yeah, you press tab and you can see the,
Yo, wait,
the
Arjun, have
bar
you
does
heard
not
the one?
unlock,
You
bro.
can't win them all. You know that one.
No, I don't.
I'm far too familiar with that one.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Yo, Mad Moon MVP, let's go.
Why is that surprising, bro?
Why is that
I don't know,
surprising?
I didn't say it in a way that it was surprising. It's just
No, you did, bro.
Iron Man. I don't usually see. You don't usually see too many Iron Man MVPs.
Nah, you do, bro.
At least I don't.
I do.
Battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2,
And I feel like Surfell's been getting MVP the most out of us
capture
today.
the mission
He's not Portal Man, though.
That's
taking it easy.
Yeah. He's going Allen mode with Namor.
About to find out.
Who else can hurt?
Against the world.
Bro, what? They need to be doing all that.
Yeah, they didn't have to ult off rip.
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now. Capture the mission area. Sure. Double KO.
Folks weak, yep.
Okay.
We're cooking a little bit. Let's keep it up.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
You get a drone on you.
Okay. Don't bomb me. Don't drone strike me.
No promises, yo. I might be Palantir.
Shit, I might be Tony Stark, bro. I might be I make those bombs, bro.
My U.S. defense military stocks have been doing quite well.
You own U.S. defense stocks?
You don't Palantir?
Not Palantir, nah. I had Kratos and Lockheed Martin. I sold a lot of my Kratos position, though.
Bro, that's the God of War, bro.
Right? I tried to sell the Kratos once, unsuccessfully. So
You captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going.
Yeah, they're on the point. Yeah, they're on the point.
Ah, fuck! I flew downward trying to avoid the cloak and dagger, but then I just died. Went out of bounds. Yo, they have an AFK. We should be like smoking them right now.
Double kill.
Come on.
Tremble before fast!
How the fuck is this guy so,
no.
he's so fast, bro?
Yeah, he's fucking sneaky little guy.
Portal.
Yo, they got a portal. Yo. How do we counter such an advanced technique?
The more advanced technique is a wall, bro.
Us against the world!
We'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
Yo, crazy invisible woman shield over here. Arjun, are you against U.S. military defense stock, ethically speaking?
I don't know. I would never do it. If someone else does it, I don't feel too strongly about it, actually.
Easy game.
Yeah, we pissed on them a little bit.
Another epic victory.
Another epic victory. Big win.
Yo, I've never seen the MVP animation on this before.
You seen it now, bro.
It's decent, you know. I like how he kind of fire bends at
They
the
see
end.
you now, bro.
Kind of nice. Yo, I'm almost Centurion on Ultron.
You can join the club, bro.
You're far closer to Lord than I am, though.
Not by a lot, bro. I'm only like level 16, bro.
I'm almost 14. I'll be.
Alan's perfect age range.
That might actually be a little too old for him, don't you think?
Almost 14? Yeah, you might.
Pick your hero or villain.
Maybe he's at
I'm not
almost
judging.
12, right? Then we're talking like that's more of Alan's alley.
You picked the right gal for the
Wind, cloud, and storm.
Yeah, Arjun, I was telling Surfell earlier. I watched like my third or fourth football game today, and I actually enjoyed it. Like watching it. Normally, I've been kind of bored, not knowing what's going on. But yeah, I like Bills versus Broncos today.
Bills versus Broncos. Yeah, that went in OT, right?
Yeah, I went to OT now. It was a
That's
good game, too, I
to
guess.
watch, yeah. Bro, that guy Josh Allen's a fucking fraud, bro. I've been saying that shit for years.
Allen theory.
Yeah, I thought the Bills were gonna take it. Yo, they were they came up, and then it happens.
Bills Mafia, bro.
30 seconds before you attack.
Oh, he said the thing.
What's the thing?
I'll never let Coca-Cola suffer the same fate as Kenosha.
Jeez, Magneto. All right, yo, if you're gonna go Magneto, actually, who wants Deadpool?
I'll take Deadpool.
And storm. Hear my command.
Nice pool.
The battle starts in 5,
Yo, guys, coach is right.
3,
The triple
sorry.
team up, I might have to.
1.
There's a triple team up. The fuck?
Capture the mission area.
The game.
Yeah,
Magneto's
you,
pretty
Rogue, and I.
Which means it's probably not, right?
Gambit.
Gambit.
That was so funny.
Where's that guy, bro? This guy's too busy playing fucking TF2, man. I mean, yeah, TF2.
Who? Amit?
Amit and Guggen, bro.
That's what I say. Guggen's probably playing too, right? What is TF2?
I'm gonna come home right now, bro.
It's like
Team Fortress?
no, not Team Fight Tactics, bro.
What's that?
Fucking League of Legends, like chess.
Oh my god, really?
Oh yeah, they're telling me.
More or less, yeah.
Man.
They put TFT in this game too, but it was like an Ultron game mode, and you like pick different characters, like
Yo, we're getting cooked,
DPS and strategists. Yeah, my fault, bro.
Okay, let's give it another shot, rookie.
Yeah, they got. Yo, how are we gonna win against fucking Wienermeister and Goblin Boiler, bro, and Nibblesworth, bro?
Yo,
and
that's
E-Boy,
your answer.
bro.
That's your answer, bro. We got Portal, man. Yeah, this Black Panther's a problem. Can we get a Namor?
We had a Namor, didn't we? Until Surfo switched to Strange.
Yeah, we got the point.
Don't worry.
Yeah, Portal, man.
Portal. That was actually a really good Portal.
Yeah, telling you, man. Portal.
No, notice it.
Well, next up,
notice that you just put it in the middle of the fight rather than like trying to like flank somewhere crazy.
I can start redecorating it now.
No, I actually didn't notice that, bro. Must have been a fluke. Can I hit anything with anything, bro?
Holy W heals, bro.
Yeah, we have a nasty team up. It's one of the more broken ones in the game.
Damn.
No, I pressed the book by accident.
I went a little bit ahead.
How'd you know my name was a little bit
What the fuck?
Back and better than ever. Come on, I didn't come here to read.
Is it cooked? It might be cooked.
Mess with the amazing Spider-Man.
You mean their team of like all lords, basically, bro? They're doing way too much.
Okay, I'm surprised we lived that long, to be honest.
They're doing way too much in quick play, bro.
No, it was just Rogue and I on point. We survived for like 30 seconds. Wait, yo, I'm almost there.
Nah, bro. Okay, we got 2 picks, bro. Let's go. Yeah, Spider-Man's trying to solo me right now.
Nice.
Yeah, we got motion.
Good shit, Rappy Tappy. Yeah, let that bozo punch the air, idiot.
Oh, Scooter Man.
Oh, I'm Scooter Man. He's dead. He's a dead man. No Deadpool.
You know who loves Scooter Man? Savik.
What's Savik saying these days, bro?
Yo, I want to link him. Dude. I love that guy, bro. He's so
Yeah,
funny.
we should touch him, bro. Yeah,
What's
they're
that,
capturing
bro?
the point. They're capturing the point. They're capturing the point.
Like when he pulled up to your house in here, I wish I was there that day. Like Savik was genuinely one of my favorite people from North Park.
Was? He's still
Where
there,
is that?
bro.
I haven't talked to him, and like, yeah, because like we just never kept in contact after that, I guess.
Bro, just message him right now, bro.
What if I'm shy?
Just message him, bro.
Locked, loaded, and loudmouth.
Bro, I be hitting people up after like 11 years, bro. Like, I was like, what do you
I
say?
did that one time. Like, I found an old drawing that my school friend made. Yo, he drew Kakashi, like, on Bukakashi for you Naruto fans here.
30 seconds.
And I just saw that in my old, like, drawer, and I was like, yo, Chris. I saw this, yo. Thank you for that.
Chris.
Chris Hyun, bro. Chinese dude. He was boys with Tulsi and I in the 7th grade. That was the...
Tulsi too much swag, bro?
Yeah, exactly.
All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Sounds easy. Which means it's probably not, right?
You're about to find out.
What was that?
Fancy seeing you.
I got ult. Come on, Rogue's ult me. There we go.
And start fighting. Mission area is yours.
Really? Does that mean I can start reading?
Yo, Spider-Man's one shot.
He's gone, bro.
The battle isn't over yet.
He dipped out.
Oh, it's tough. Rogue might be able to get him, but
Can I aim? No. No, you can't.
I didn't come here to read.
Yo, who you think wins in a one-on-one? Ebony, Mao, or Thanos?
That healing feeling.
Like without the Infinity Stones.
With the amazing
Like, I don't even know Mao would probably win.
I don't know, man. Thanos was
Fuck with it.
Thanos was tanky though.
Still, but
like,
Ebony
bro.
Mao had fucking like like telekinesis.
Like, bro, all that for a drop of blood though. It was doing a lot, bro.
No, I'm saying without any Infinity Stones.
I feel you, bro, but like, I don't think the Infinity Stone really gives him like defense like that.
Fair.
Also, hella ult, bro. Oh, brother. Stay alive.
this fucking Iron Fist thinks they can do something. We showed them Circle.
Bro, is she taking my power? Oh shit. No, you just took my shit, bro. What do you mean you're taking more, bro? I mean a 360 deal.
Spider-Man's did some damage there too. Get in my line of sight.
Oh my
Yo,
god.
Spider-Man's in his inner spawn.
I died.
There we go, that is something.
Much better.
Ah, here we go
Okay, bro's gotta stay still if he wants heals.
Ah shit, here we go again.
Yeah, we got this.
A winning hand.
Damn, and that was pretty solid, 17 and 3.
Why are you saying it like I'm some scrub, bro?
I mean, because Deadpool is a new character.
Bro. 700 healing? Might be him.
He might be.
Raffy Taffy though? Might be no more, bro.
Yo,
Might be
he's
better
like,
than
"Yeah,
Alan,
yo,
bro.
yo." Yo, get out of here.
I gotta.
No Deadpool, no Hella 4v6.
You got a what, Surfo? You cut out.
I'm gonna get a. I'm gonna get it off stuff.
I'm still on if you guys are.
I'll play like a game or two.
Alright. Surfo's the leader of the
Later,
party.
Surfo.
So it's
Good night, sir.
okay,
Good
Justin
night,
needs leader now.
fellas.
Yeah.
Justin the leader, Justin the leader. Warfell.
Warfell.
We're about to start getting cooked, yo. Surfel's our ace.
I better hop into my Twitch chat, bro.
Yeah, Surfel hops on, I'll hop on, and if Sab is in, that'll get you 3.
Bro,
We got 2 right here.
all he said was just some bullshit already, bro.
Poor villain. I'm not.
Ah, Mr. Tater. Okay.
Mr. Taylor. Fat pearls?
I'm Luna Snow, like the moon.
For a healer. I like it.
Alright. I'll do it.
No. Keep it.
I mean, yeah,
Let's see what we do.
basically a DPS sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes, bro, the way you play him.
If I can aim, sometimes, yeah, it depends.
There we go, we got Gambit, and now we just need
Yeah.
Deadpool to switch to strategist Deadpool, and we're just set, bro.
Got Gambito.
Yeah.
Makes people happy. Heroes make them safe. Maybe I can do both. 30 seconds before you attack. Get ready. We've got some pretty good competition on the other side of this fight.
Don't you worry that pretty close enough to hear me.
Who the fuck is saying that?
Is about to steal us all.
Oh my god. Why they make Deadpool so zesty, bro?
He is zesty, bro.
They actually did.
You see this
I know
guy's-
he is zesty, but they made him extra zesty.
I mean, he's
4, 3,
always been zesty, bro.
1.
He's gay canonically, isn't he? Or at least bisexual.
I think he's pansexual.
No, he's like pansexual or something. Even in the movie, he's pansexual.
Yeah, he was getting pegged in the first movie, bro.
You're about to find out.
Yo, he's just like
Yeah.
Gurpan for real.
The fool is Gurpan.
Ah, girl pansexual.
Yo. I unfollowed her because she just kept posting so much shit. It was kind of annoying. That was before you could mute people on Instagram. It's
Oh
that
yeah, I feel that.
these days.
Yeah, I got everybody
I don't
on
know, I
Instagram
muted
muted,
too.
bro.
But there. I have Ishika muted.
I understand.
Does she still post bear?
I don't know. I have muted, bro.
I have her stories muted. I think.
Yo, that's tough, yo. You're so annoying, fucking people start muting you. Alright, yo, I'm not gonna play.
Am I lagging? Oh, I'm lagging.
L heals. L heals.
Yeah, it's because fucking Mr. Tater won't switch to strategist, bro.
I am Alan.
Hi, Alan.
Hi,
I'm
kids.
dead.
Hi, kids. Do you like violence?
Yeah.
Oh, you know who I know who I should play. I didn't actually want to go into this character. Yo, Hennessy.
Squirrel, bro?
Fuck.
Oh my god. That's so fucked.
Yo, at least you're ace, bro. That
You set us up for fucking failure, bro.
That's my ace. That's my ace right
We
there.
have 0 kills as a team, dude. That's the funny part, bro.
Team deactivated. You guys are haters, bro.
Yeah, they've almost got it. Yo, isn't that the 6ix9ine song?
What?
The guy, Gooba? The motherfucking name of the other team, bro?
This guy named Google on the team?
Gooba, yeah, the Moon Knight's name is Gooba. Ain't that a 6ix9ine song?
Yeah, it is. Is one of his comeback songs.
One of his
point.
which
That's
comeback are we talking about?
Yeah, after he got released from jail in like 2020.
Like the one with like the Kanye feature and the Nicki feature, like that album? Or like, after that. Yeah.
After that, that's where he got locked up.
Gooba. Oh, it's on Tattletales, bro. I don't even think I heard Tattletales, bro.
You ain't hear Tattletales, bro?
Definitely not, bro.
Yeah, me neither.
The song was promoted via a large billboard in Times Square that read "The King is back." Yeah,
Oh,
bro.
the king is back.
King's back.
Have you finally developed the equivalent of a soul? Negative. Souls are flawed, and my programming is perfect.
The battle starts in 5,
All right, guys.
3,
It's time
2, 1.
to play the game.
Is it time to duel though?
Do is capture the mission area.
No, no.
Hey, we got 2 bodies, bro.
Which means it's probably not right.
You're about to find out.
Tremble before blast!
Looks like the mission area is yours for after now. Then you better stop.
Yo, I wasn't even looking at that person and I got a kill.
You mean with your alt, bro?
Yeah.
Bro, this squirrel, bro. You don't need to look at your enemies, bro.
That's nice.
Or I'll give you a team up, bro.
Iron Man?
They captured the mission area.
What is the
It's a
even
homing
bomb?
missile. It's a homing missile.
Yo,
You need to aim
motion?
even less, bro. Bro, what the fuck? Oh. Hell no. I'm getting touched.
Baby, that's the good stuff.
Gonna have to play X-Men
I'm
and
gonna find whoever put me out last time.
Okay. I'm locking in right in 5 seconds.
Hurry up.
Yeah, the Deadpool's trying to go after me a little bit. Yo, this is so easy.
Nobody said it was hard, bro.
Last minute miracle.
Control seized.
You can play it back in.
Hurry up. Anyone say fireworks?
Disappear.
Oh, Deadpool.
Ooh.
Jason.
Chases.
Yeah, they got me.
Jason. Yeah. With an ace of Squirrel Girl, bro, that's how you know this shit's like.
Keep
You
capturing.
need to aim. You need to know what you're doing. You just press
This
buttons.
is my
and-
first game. This is my first game of Squirrel Girl. I've never played her before.
I'm dead.
I'm gonna find whoever put me out last time.
Oh, what the fuck? Okay, this bitch is here.
There's bitches there, yo. Oh my god, Deadpool, bro, please.
Can this guy like fuck off? He's almost dead. There we go. We got like 2 or 3 kills there. Let's try to get objective.
I'm flying towards the point. There's nobody on the point right now. I'm capping the point right now.
We should be able to get it. We should be able to get
There,
it.
Shark is back.
Yeah, he's dead too.
DP, low. Never mind, he got healed. Never mind, he's low again.
Help. Ah, I'm dead. Very nice.
Target is captured.
Still fighting Venom, bro.
Up that guy.
We gotta do.
Black Panther in the back.
Dang it.
Ah, the fucking squirrel girl got me.
Are you getting out Squirrel Girl, bro?
Out last time. Be ready
A little
for
bit,
counterattacks. They're not going to quit.
Gooba.
No, they're gonna get it. Yeah, they got it.
Bruh.
That's what happens when we don't have portals.
That's actually facts.
Yeah, we needed Surf
We need a
Out.
portal man, bro.
I am done.
Alright.
Later.
Can't expect to win them all.
Munir, are you also done?
I might be. I'm gonna take a little break if not.
Yeah, fair enough.
Play for like 2 hours
I'm
straight.
gonna run. Yeah, I've been running it for that long.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, about that long, yeah.
Alright, there you go.
Later. Good night. You too as well, Munir. I will probably be seeing you another night.